What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. This is going to be a comparison of the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which I'm talking on right now, versus this phone, the Galaxy S21 Ultra. So we're going to do a comparison of the cameras like we're going to show in the beginning of this video, the speakers, the performance, the displays, pretty much anything you can think about with a phone. Fit, feel, software, everything you can think of, pretty much, that your mom or your dad would use, or even you would use. So with that said, let's continue with the camera comparison and go from there. I wanted to show off this effect as well. This is cinematic video on the iPhone with the front-facing camera, and here it is called portrait video on the S21 Ultra. So hopefully you can see which one you think looks better. I'll be curious to look at these on the big screen. The iPhone definitely, at least off the screen anyway, looks to be lighter in color, a little bit more vibrant, and the S21 Ultra looks a little darker, but maybe it's just the screen setting I have on the Galaxy, but still interesting to see. I do like this effect. It's a cinematic effect. It looks pretty cool. I dig it. What do you guys, do you like this feature on these phones? All right, so let's jump into the look and feel of these phones. So iPhone 13 Pro Max has a 6.7 inch display, whereas the S21 Ultra has a 6.8 inch display. In terms of the way these phones look, so you can see the display, there's only a little pinhole camera at the very top on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. And it's looking like a skinnier display, almost curved ever so slightly, whereas the iPhone 13 Pro Max, you have a flatter display and you have a notch at the top. Not as big as it was in previous years, but you do get a notch there. Well, you can see it a little bit better right there. And which one looks better on the front? I would have to go with this phone, the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Also, holding these phones in your hand, which one is easier to hold just without a case? S21 Ultra as well. It's got like curved edges, whereas it's definitely more squared off on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But generally, you're probably gonna have a case on, so it probably won't matter at that point. But again, just holding these in hand, it is, and plus this being like a slightly curved display, it is easier to hold. Now, looking around the edges of this, I'm not hugely in love with this like silverish look to it around it. I feel like it's gonna get scratched. I don't know, I don't love that. Whereas the S21 Ultra continues with the black feel around the edge of the phone. I do like that better. I think it looks cooler. Here's the back of the phones. Both of them, in terms of like just, looking at them and feeling them, both feel very, very good quality. It's hard to pick a winner. The camera design there, it's really preference. The iPhone one has a little bit of a lip, and then so does the S21 Ultra. So they both have a little bit of a lip ultimately. I don't love either one of these completely, but I guess I'd go again with the S21 Ultra for the look. I do like the Apple branding there. It's iconic, it's cool, it's an Apple, why not? Like that, I love apples, so who doesn't love apples? And they get the Samsung branding there. Button layout, you get your power button on the iPhone on the right, whereas on Samsung Galaxy, you get your power button and volume buttons all on the same side, which is your power button and then your volume buttons. At the top, you don't really get anything of use too much. At the bottom, you get speakers, and you also get USB-C here, a Lightning on the iPhone. I have way more things for USB-C, so I appreciate that with the Galaxy phone. And then on the left-hand side, nothing for the Galaxy phone, but the iPhone has your volume buttons and your mute switch. So in terms of overall design of these phones, both of them look fantastic. It's going to be a preference thing. Me personally, I like certain things about the iPhone, such as the logo. I do like the feel of it in the back. I like this whitish, silverish color, really, really good. But whereas with the Galaxy phone, I do like the camera module slightly better. The display design is more modern and cool looking versus what you get with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So next we'll do a sound test. So I'm gonna make sure I have the speakers all the way up. As you can see, I do on the Galaxy phone, and then on the iPhone, make sure we're completely maxed out. We are now maxed out now. And I'm just gonna play some songs and we'll decide which one we think sounds better. Ooh, that was close, but yeah, just off that song, definitely the 13 Pro Max, it sounds more complete, sounds more full, bassier. I do like the sound better on the iPhone. Let's choose another song. Yeah, I'd have to go the iPhone again on that song as well. Yeah, the iPhone just sounds clearer and bassier and just better overall. Now, volume-wise, they're pretty darn close sounding. Maybe the iPhone's slightly louder, seemingly, maybe 10%, 20% louder, if that. Maybe not at all. It's tough to tell. But just quality of sound, the iPhone just sounds more sophisticated, and I have to give the win for the sound department to the iPhone. I did a Geekbench score on both of these, which I will admit, Geekbench scores aren't the be-all, end-all of everything, but it's just good to know. Single core score for the Galaxy S21 Ultra was 1058 and 3375 for multi-core, and for the iPhone 1734 and 4656. So the iPhone won on single core and multi-core, and by a pretty big margin overall if you consider just like percentages. So if you want the phone with better performance in terms of Geekbench and gaming and everything else, you're gonna want to go with the iPhone, but this is no slouch of a phone. Everything you do on this phone is gonna be really, really fast. And I'll just show you, like, just opening up certain apps. So I'm just gonna open up a couple of apps on here at the same time just to show you how close or different they are. There you go, basically the same time for the most part. Galaxy might have won by a smidge. Here, we'll go open up Instagram. There you go, again, very, very close, but it looks like the Galaxy phone might have pulled that one off. Open up Facebook. Again, it's like, that's what I mean by this kind of stuff. It's like when you open up, just opening up apps and stuff, you're not going to see a huge difference. Both of these phones also have 120 Hertz displays. Basically, the Galaxy phone pretty much does it all the time, no matter what app you're in. Currently with iPhone, at the time of making this video, it really only works in first-party apps. But still, it looks great and fantastic on both. And I've seen people online say like, hey, it looks so much better on the iPhone, it's the best ever. But I don't know if I notice a huge difference in terms of the smoothness of both displays, like just scrolling or anything like that. But I will admit that the iPhone, the animations and things do feel a little bit smoother on here when you're just jumping around the phone. And it feels fluid throughout. I feel once in a while, I wouldn't say that the Galaxy's slow or anything, but you'll pick up a hiccup here or there on your phone where you don't really get that on the iPhone. And again, it's just very so slightly. I wouldn't say like this isn't fast and this isn't smooth. It's just like sometimes there's like a little jagged animation, whereas you don't really get that on the iPhone so much. So in terms of smoothness, performance, they're really, really good. Obviously the iPhone's probably gonna take the win because it did win that benchmark and it always has the highest benchmarks, but you really can't go wrong either way with either of these phones. So, you know, even though the iPhone probably is more powerful, you know, don't worry about that. Don't buy too much into that. Here's the same video running at the same time of both of them completely maxed out on here. iPhone's on the top, S21 Ultra's on the bottom, and both look absolutely amazing. You will not go wrong with either one of these displays. They both look like seriously amazing. The iPhone is an AMOLED display. Again, it has that 120 Hertz refresh rate. So does the Galaxy S21 Ultra. So whichever one you choose, you're gonna be very happy. Just to show you real quick. Seriously, come on. Amazing on both of these. So don't worry too much. They're both super bright. They're easy to see inside, outside, every side, wherever you are. You can see they're absolutely beautiful. Basically, and I believe Samsung makes the iPhone display anyway. So it's like, hey, you're getting a Samsung display on both of these. And when you look at this, color temperatures are fairly close. Quality of the displays look almost identical. So whichever, if you're looking for the best display, I wouldn't worry too much. Obviously, when you're looking at these full video, you do get a notch cutout with the iPhone. You get a little pinhole camera cutout with the S21 Ultra. So at that point, it's preference, but I will admit you'll get used to both of these and it shouldn't be too big of a deal. In terms of like using these phones in your hand when you're like navigating around, they both are very similar because Android has recently, within the last couple of years, copied Apple's gestures. You can go back to the buttons at the bottom like you remember with the back button, home button, and recent apps button, or you can make it so it's like an iPhone. So if you're here or something, you can swipe up to go home. You can swipe up and hold to bring up your recent apps. You can also swipe from the right or the left to go back. So you can see I swipe over, if I swipe over again, it will go back. So very similar as in iPhone, if I'm in here, let's just say I'm in my Safari, I can swipe up and go home, swipe up and bring up to my recent apps. You don't get a back button per se. Also, you can go like this to swipe through your apps if you want, just like you could with a one of these phones and an iPhone. So very, very similar. iPhone doesn't have a back button. I know some people are like, swipe from the bottom right. It doesn't work. I don't know, you know what you're talking about, guys. And if it does work, show me a video because I can't even find a video on it. But yeah, I wish the iPhone had a dedicated back button. It doesn't, unfortunately. It would be really cool if they did, but they don't. So for navigating, I do think it's smoother with the gestures on the iPhone, but I just wish they had a back button. I think that's the killer feature on an Android phone is the back button. Software-wise, also, Galaxy phones are known for so many customizations. They have an app in here, if you get a Galaxy phone, called Good Lock, and there is so many customizations and craziness in here for you to do, tons and tons. This is a tip of the iceberg for some of this stuff. Everything from changing your icons to changing your themes. They have a theme store built into the phone, and a click of a button where you can change all this stuff. You click, like say, hey, I want this one. I can download it. I can buy it. Some of this stuff is free in here, and it'll show you and change your sounds for you. It does like crazy amount of customizations. Android is known for their customizations. iPhone, you can add widgets now on the screen. You do have the ability to change your icons. It's a little bit more of a chore. You can't really theme out your phone per se. and you can't change these home screens like you can on a Galaxy phone. So customization, control of the software, all of that, definitely without a doubt, you'd have to want to go with the Galaxy phone. But iPhone's getting there. They're giving you a little bit more control step by step. It just isn't enough, and it's a little bit more of a chore to do some of that stuff. Two other things I wanted to mention real quick. The iPhone does not have a fingerprint sensor. The Galaxy does. The Galaxy one's underneath the display. So the way you unlock your phone with the iPhone, which I absolutely love, I will admit, is with Face ID. It's secure. You can use it for digital payments, unlocking password managers, unlocking your phone. It's fantastic. You literally just basically has to see your face and it unlocks. Some people love it, some people hate it, but ultimately it works pretty damn well for the most part. Maybe if you have a mask or something, it might cause some issues. Now, Galaxy phones do have face unlock as well. It's not secure, so you can't use it with any digital payments or anything, but you can use it to unlock your phone. Fingerprint sensor underneath the display, very cool to show people that. But ultimately, I don't know, sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. I like it better this year more than ever, but I do prefer it on the side or the back if I had to choose. The other thing I wanted to show you real quick with Galaxy phones, you can run multiple apps at once. You can see I have 2 apps running right here. I can even bring in a 3rd app if I want and just have it floating around. So very cool. You can watch a video, social media on that side. You cannot do that with an iPhone. So that leads us down to which is the better phone. Let's talk about the cameras first. I thought that the photos with the iPhone 13 Pro Max actually came out a little bit more lifelike, more real. And I think with that, you know, I think, well, some people would choose the Galaxy phone because they want that, you know, white, bright, light, you know, kind of photos, whereas the iPhone takes a more natural looking photo, and I think it's preference. But if I had to choose just photos alone, maybe the iPhone. Videos, I think the Galaxy was weird, is the opposite. I felt like the Galaxy took a more natural video, and then the iPhone like made everything whited out and like just lifeless in a way. For that, I would choose the Galaxy phone. The new mode, which is their cinematic mode, I like the stabilization of the iPhone, but I felt like the Galaxy one, even though the stabilization wasn't as good, the colors and the look of it was better. And then everything else, guys, I mean, it's really going to come down to what you like. Do you need to be in the Apple ecosystem or no? Do you not? Can you live without being in the Apple ecosystem? And what I mean by that, do you need FaceTime? Do you need iMessage? Do you need everything to connect with your MacBook and your Apple TV and everything else that you have that's Apple? Or can you kind of get out of that digital prison and free yourself and try something new? The software is crazy on the Galaxy phones. There's so much to do and customize and control, but at the same time, sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of control like you do on the iPhone, but have everything kind of mapped out for you where you don't really have to think about stuff and it just works. I think that's the great thing about iPhones and an Apple ecosystem. Stuff generally just works, and it generally just works together, and it works really well. The display is beautiful on this, but so is the display on this. The performance is great on this, but the performance is great on this. The cameras are good on this. The cameras are good on this. Like, both of these phones are at the upper echelons of everything that you would want in a phone, and whichever one you choose, you really won't be too wrong, and I think you'd be happy with the one you chose. It just depends if you want more customization and control and to try something new potentially if you're not on the Galaxy side, or if you want to stay on the iPhone side because of the familiarity, the ability to FaceTime and do all that kind of stuff with your family. But also remember, there's Google Duo to do video chats, and there's text messaging and WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. There's other apps that you can do very similar stuff that's maybe built right into the iPhone, that's either built into the Android as well, that's, you know, its competitor, or that you can just download. So whichever one you choose, I think you'll be happy. Let me know what you guys think is the better phone out of the two in the comments down below, and we'll see you guys down the road. Peace.